The control. My spouse cheated, but I don't feel like she regrets it. Since July, my wife has been unfaithful, at least on the phone. It began as a physical affair in September. She announced her departure and desire to be independent at the beginning of October. I had no knowledge of any other male at that time. She even claimed that nobody else existed. She tried for a week before announcing she would stay. She mentioned that she had something to tend to. It turns out that she spent just 3 days with him overnight in order to split up, and a week later she told me she missed him. I continued to think they weren't sexual. I questioned her straight out, "Are you sleeping with this man?" "After 5 weeks of this, I just thought you knew," she remarked. I was furious. The truth is that we had fantastic sexual encounters 5 times a week or more. This guy makes less money, is less handsome, has debt, and lives in an area he despises. I'm the greatest husband, lover, father, friend, and support system there is, according to my spouse. What is happening? She says she's really depressed about the direction her life is taking. I am too content and too predictable in life. We currently live as a family, and that is who we are. We took 5 vacations last year, Arizona and Hawaii for golf, Disneyland, Washington, D.C., mostly just the 2 of us in Atlantic City. Everything that has ever loved her has been taken away by her. Over the years, she has alienated every one of her lifelong pals. She is trampling hard on the one remaining vein of love in her life, me. Anything she wanted to do, I was all for it. She loves to build houses, cultivate flowers, play golf, and work at a golf club. When she grows tired of something or notices something else, she moves on to the next. She desires. I agreed with that. She took advantage of the affection and trust I gave her to have this affair and turned it against me. She is seeking a divorce. She observes superior pastors. When I urged her to end the affair while we were apart, she responded with, "What? It will be 6 months before I see him again. How do I make it such that she has a terrible breakup? I want her to get over this quickly. She won't, though. Please provide a hand." She is 41 years old, and I am 42. 18. 5 years of happiness. She claimed to be internally dissatisfied. Not so much with me as with life. One youngster, age 10. She is, in my opinion, stuck in her emotions, and this relationship offered her the shift she so desperately needs. He and what he gives are not it. 2 weeks ago, she asked me to take her back. She informed me that she was here to stay. Naturally, I did. She was really sorry, sincere, upset, and filled with guilt. Though she begged for pardon, her thoughts kept drawing her back to this new existence. There is nothing greater than what we have on hand. No problems with money, no abuse, either physical or psychological. Holidays, lovely house and community. We have all that we have required. All we have done for one another is express love and care. Everywhere we went, our friends would tell us we were the most loving and finest couple ever. Then, as the days passed, she started to hide her emotions more. She opened up to me after we had a few drinks and claimed that by staying with him, she would lose everything and he would gain everything. She believes that the purpose of their time apart is for her to assess if he can meet her need for change. She's not coming back to me, I don't think. She claims I smother her even. I'm not sure how she manages to balance her job and her daily golf game. Even though she would contact me, it must be to avoid me since she would want to have a private conversation with me when she got back. I find it really difficult. I was incredibly in love with her. Even if she made a mistake, she still has my undying affection. It aches a great deal. Remarks heard, it's my experience. Numerous thousands of people have visited this location. This may seem startling, but if you read other accounts of adultery, this is precisely the same scenario we keep seeing. Here, every day. The circumstances you find yourself in are not very special. Thus, shifting the balance of power is the first thing you need to accomplish. She desires to go, etc. She is aware of your greatness and your unwavering support for her. The affair needs to end, whether you do or do you thus have any concrete evidence, such as recordings, notes, or even just her own admission. Because you have to pull your wife from her deep denial and tell everyone about the affair. To have any chance at all, the Om's family and place of employment. Go dark if that's what you want. She might begin to beg for another opportunity if she has no one to turn to. However, you must first thoroughly expose this situation. Now is the time to file for divorce. It requires a lot of time to complete. You can decide otherwise at any time. She seems to be thinking about getting a divorce. She's not sure, though. That's just her talking from her fantasy world. She's likely to be slapped back into reality by your filing and taking action, and if you do it with decisiveness, strength, and confidence, she's likely to be drawn to your assertiveness. In all that you do, avoid being clingy, whiny, depressed, or any other behaviors that detract from appeal. Make it clear to her that a third man in your marriage is something you will not put up with. Send her to this guy if that's what she wants, and then watch their illusory love burst. As has been said countless times here, you have to be willing to lose your marriage in order to save it. It sounds like a textbook example of a crisis in middle age. I understand your suffering, having gone through something similar. A few months before turning 40, my wife began having an affair. Once you've processed this, your heart will react more slowly. You can't control her anymore. Nothing you do will make her happy if she is miserable. It is up to her to find it or lose it. Try to help her and resist the need to feel sorry for her. It is not going to work. Consider your 10-year-old and yourself. You have to act in your 10-year-old's and your own best interests. Never consider what is best for your spouse. She needs to fight her own war. It's very common for her to say that you smother her. Tell her she's free to go find her space somewhere outside of your house if she needs time to gather her thoughts. Continue posting and good luck. I'm hoping he gets back to you. The other man has no kids and is divorced. Thus they are as free as birds when paired. Only that he is 2 years old. 5 hours from now. She arrived there yesterday and will be back tomorrow. Our daughter hasn't been informed yet. Probably Friday. Tomorrow, I'll submit my paperwork. I'm still so upset, but I wanted to today. I can get a divorce in Delaware practically right away. Give or receive. If adultery is involved without a separation, should I pursue that or file, wait 6 months, and resolve it then? We also made the decision to sell our home and relocate to Florida as a group, but independently. I even questioned her about why, given her move, she would want to be in a relationship. For years, she has desired to relocate there in order to play golf year-round. It's a good idea to fasten and store. Tell her who is not afraid. She is free until the end of April. She only comes here when I'm unable to. I will reside here and in Florida with my daughter. Early December, I'm flying down to look at houses. I must go to bed. Even with medicine, it has been 3 to 4 hours for the past 7 weeks. My ability to make decisions is being affected. She snoozes like a baby in the interim. Alt-Dame is accurate. She's having a crisis. My counselor has stated that numerous times. She even made one visit to a therapist. She advised my wife to cease hurting her husband if her mind was made up. That was the last day of optimism. I assumed that with counseling, she would overcome her dilemma. Not quite yet, anyhow. Nothing is helping me sleep, despite my best efforts. Hard to wake up at 3 in the morning only to hear your own thoughts. I find it difficult to understand all of this divorce and separation nonsense. It hurts. I don't give a damn about the house or anything else. What hurts is only that it must be done. I'll make an effort to regain control. On the 3rd, I have an appointment with an Addie. He advised me to acquire Addie's opinion before filing as soon as possible. I generally concur. I gave up begging on Thursday. I pleaded one last time that I felt we were seriously going wrong. It's disrespectful to our daughter, incorrect, and nearsighted. She became irate and grumpy. According to my therapist, she is similar to an adolescent and finds it more difficult to leave whenever I push against her. My wife is very self-centered and wants things to be simple. She makes all the decisions in this disaster. It's awful. It's interesting to note that I proposed relocation. I require a fresh start. She is open to moving since she wants to co-parent as well as because it is something she has always wanted to do. She's coming with me. He has no higher education, a house he can't sell, a ton of debt, a real estate job that pays nothing, and a detested ex. I'm not sure what he'll do. She might save him, in which case I'll be really upset. She says it's probably not going to last, but she's curious, so we'll have to wait and see. She wasn't infatuated with another man 20 years ago. I hoped I could have retrieved her, since that other man was me. However, I feel better, everyone is correct, and I will file and proceed with my kid at our own pace. She's free to go at her own speed. Before spring arrives, I would like to purchase, set up shop, and be prepared for summer. My desire is for my daughter to attend the same school as all of her new pals. I'm feeling good about this section. My former spouse desires to reside 20 minutes away from my home. That seems to be rather decent. Update: my behavior for the past 5 days. Waiting to reply to texts till I feel like it. I informed her that we didn't have to talk until she got back on Wednesday. I'll behave purposefully and with assurance. I'm going to close the door to my room. Legislation. Okay, I might reveal my face. I'm quite excited about the move. That's where I think my salvation is found. I have never met any new woman. I know everyone here. What a hassle. It will feel better than it does now. In addition, my W has undiagnosed seasonal stress disorder, which manifests itself in the gloomy and chilly winters in Delaware. She becomes quite depressed. When the novelty wears off and she reveals her true self, we'll see how the new guy handles my W. Law, I'm sorry for him. Not at all. Sometimes I'm starting to get tired of it. About the custody laws, I don't know. However, I don't plan to hide her from my daughter. I swear not to speak poorly about my W to my daughter. I shall honor that pledge till the end of my days. My daughter needs her, and she is a fantastic mother. Now, if she claims that this guy is the reason she doesn't want to go, then okay. Then I'll have to commit fully. Since I'm the main caretaker, she has acknowledged that I receive the most of stuff. Divide the residence. I hope she doesn't lose her sense of reason. Remarks: it is important that you pay close attention to the final advice that you have been provided. She is the enemy in this conflict. She makes a terrible mommy. She is not missing. She bedded this other man on purpose. You are not the love of her life. She has feelings for him. Your daughter and you are far behind. Get her out of your houses so that you can protect both yourself and your daughter. SAP following the guidance. Bags for trash. Next, safeguard your money by opening separate accounts, etc. After that, file for D and thoroughly expose the situation. Bring her family and friends to blow her mind. Additionally, blow up the POSOM as much as you can. Negatively impact this affair as much as possible. After that, focus on healing both your daughter and yourself. Perform the 180-degree turn right away, begin exercising, seek counseling if necessary, etc. More importantly, don't lie to your daughter about this. Don't deliberately disrespect your wife. Further harm will result from it in the future. She merely wants to cope with her own guilt and have you around for help when she needs it. Thus, it's okay if she chooses to move with you when you move to be 20 minutes away. Do nothing to bolster this and allow this not to be the case. Lastly, try not to cry or appear depressed. For her to understand what she has lost, she needs to see a strong, self-assured man. If additional information is required to bring this matter to a close, she ought to be entirely candid about all that transpired, including this whole thing about me thinking you were familiar with bees. She refrained from telling you because, in an effort to avoid conflict and, if at all possible, move on. Cheaters only divulge the barest details to you. Be strong and I wish you luck. I hear what you're all saying, Opie replies. I'm attempting to be tactful here. Together, we wish to decide on finances. She wants the majority to go to me. I'm keeping my cool so I can ask her for what I need. I'm being intelligent, not weak. She will probably demand a 50-over-50 split if I go too far. 50. She now wants me to divide the house and take the majority of the liquid assets. She will be financially stable for some time thanks to her sizable assets. Indeed, I would like blowing her up. However, I'm making an effort to outsmart her at every turn. It shouldn't be difficult. Oh, and I have an attorney appointment for today. I'm not going to talk to her about our marriage. She's spoken something. I'm just going to stick with it and try not to cause any trouble in order to obtain what I want. She wants this information to remain private. I therefore have some leverage. She most certainly doesn't want our daughter to find out. Rely on leverage. In my opinion, she acts rationally when her reputation is at jeopardy. We'll see. I'll speak with the lawyer and submit a S.A.P. From there, we'll proceed in a kind manner. Get the divorce done fast so I may, if I so want, blow her up. But thanks to all of your assistance, I feel like it is blowing over for me. My days will come and go, but they will become better. In order to begin my new life, I would like to move to this new location as soon as possible. I constantly need a company. I like to please others. In order to make us more equal in our next relationship, perhaps I will hold back a little. I'm positive that my W will miss me after I'm gone. Check to see whether this other guy can offer her the same kind of cerebral stimulation that I have been giving her for a long time. Her decision, in my opinion, should be carefully considered in any situation, regardless of how similar it may be to another. In this instance, I think something slipped loose and she strayed for novelty purposes rather than for romantic or sexual purposes or perhaps for a better future. This is as light as it gets. Yesterday, after she got back from spending 2 nights with him, I talked to her. When she came back, she appeared dejected, as if I hadn't been at the house. I was sad when I told her I wouldn't be home until after I went out to eat. I was also sad when I came back and didn't show her any affection. She was sad at bedtime and this morning and wanted to lay next to me, but I didn't give it to her. She knows she is going it alone and that this guy probably won't stick around for long. I told her that she hurt and betrayed me so badly that it will take a long time for her to forget that. She sobbed uncontrollably. It's starting to set in, I think, but her path remains unwavering. She still desires to go and start over. For the first time in my life, I told her that I was excited to be independent. Nobody to check in with, consult, or answer to. It will be fantastic, as I stated. She concurred. I also mentioned how much I would like to move sooner rather than later and how much I need a woman's company and comfort. If she wishes, she is free to stay behind. I don't give a damn. We discussed money this morning, and we are currently creating our financial agreement. I'll have my lawyer formally certify it, so hopefully that takes care of it. I'm hoping. Her concerns are for the future and for herself. I hope the best for her. We will have to maintain our good relationship with our daughter. Oh, and I also informed her that she had to tell her mother the truth. Yes, she shook her head. That will ruin her, and for her mother to even bring up that conversation. That's when she predicted that this guy wouldn't stay very long. Okay, I understand. Despite her stupid actions, I still feel sorry for her. She committed a grave error. Much is at stake. I'll stand my ground, but she must first make herself whole, before I would ever think about reclaiming her. Until something is completely lost, nothing is a total loss. I'm still investigating my emotions. Furthermore, even though I've moved on, forgiveness and compassion still hold a place in my heart. She'll have to work for it. I'm assessing her feelings to decide what would be the best course of action. As an analyst, I have a plan. So, before I make a choice, I consider all of my possibilities. She has left. I am aware of that. Even though there's a spark in the back somewhere, I'm moving on. It is hard to let go completely, simple to express or utter. My hearts are clinging desperately. Legislation. We're not having sex or sharing a bed together. She has psychologically vanished. She admits, sobbing, one day that she knows she will never find love like I had, to whom she might confide anything. That never held her in judgment. That was my equal in terms of friendship. It's just beyond me. I'm trying not to show weakness in front of her, but it's difficult when she tugs at my emotions at this terrible period in my life. I can hardly stomach it, even if she insists she wants to go still. The knowledge that I am no longer required hurts so much. On a roller coaster, that's me. I was in control last night and I'm in the dumps today, confronting the fact that we are going to tell our daughter the truth and that I'm going to betray her. We will never end up apart, I assured her. I never imagined that we would. It is utterly awful. Even though she caused this to us, I believe that I share some of the blame for my kid. I'm so sick of the pain that I just can't bear it anymore. I hope tomorrow turns out better. Tonight, we told our daughter. I've never sobbed that much. I'm furious beyond belief. My daughter sobbed for 60 minutes, asked if there was anything she could do to make us think differently. That was the moment I died. I detest her greatly. There's no way she's coming back now. Completed. Here's the thing, she asked me to forgive and accept her back 2.5 weeks ago. That's what I did. Then, after 3 days, she started to lean toward the other guy and became reclusive and emotionless. It's awful. It seems like I smother her. What a bunch of nonsense. I hope she finds empty space and a man who is just half as good as me in her new existence. Rotating 180 degrees. I'm through. Remarks. Has your child been informed of the reasons for your divorce and the person she is leaving her family for? 10 years old is more than sufficient to understand the true cause of her family's collapse and the identity of the POSOM involved. Never assume that she can't learn this on her own. When the time comes, she may get resentful of you for lying to her. Children pick up life lessons from their parents, and they are quick to remember instances of deceit and downright lying. Which life lessons would you like her to absorb and apply? That one or your WWs? Take it from a guy who endured months of phony reconciliation at a cost of $350 only to learn that she was leaving after I had to use coercion to get her to tell me about the Christmas gift. I now detest Carhartt coats, which I discovered she had purchased for him. She didn't leave me or my 2 boys for another 4 months, though. I endured her abuse till she went. Nothing says don't come near me like your ex-wife's phone ringing and the contact image showing them cuddling during the affair. After that, you should have your wife answer the phone, go giggly into another room, and then head out to avoid this other man before returning home. I can't even begin to tell you how much I begged and cried. If I could have had her back, I would have eaten the garbage off the floor and severed my right arm. When that failed to materialize, I came to the conclusion that life was meaningless and began learning how to cut myself off. My 13-year-old son entering my bedroom, I had to man up and cry. My son was not allowed to be with this piece that showed T a woman and this piece that showed T another male. 11 months have passed since then. I'm tired of dating these days and comparing men to men. That is unimportant. I just began my 24th year as a detective. I just received a promotion that pays me roughly $145K a year, making me feel like a sergeant. My 2 boys stay with me at my house. This other man is 10 years older than me, a foot shorter than me, and he has nothing. My ex moved in with him after leaving this place, despite it still not stopping him. You want to do everything to make this right, but the reality is that you can't. It is the world's most powerless feeling. I've never felt so powerless. This cannot be fixed by a magic bullet, potion, or spell. If there were, I already would have taken it or completed it. Time is the only thing that can help you make sense of it all. Nothing that anyone says here will make it easier for you to accept time. You'll understand what others were saying and that they made sense when they did several months later. But even then, you were unable to understand it. Give her the divorce this time, and never again show her how devastated you are. Bite your lip till it bleeds, cry at your mother, but never let her know you're in pain. At all. I give God praise for my wife's brutal and harsh treatment of me. I would have cheerfully followed for a very long time if she had dragged me along. Though I can never forgive her for what she did after the affair, I can say now that I love her, or at least I used to love her. And how she handled me before to her departure. She treated me like trash, something to be knocked around and thrown away. She would laugh about me with her partner at night. How they pretended to split apart in order to convince me and the therapist, and how they laughed as they went together. It had to have been their ongoing joke. You will never be the same again, and things will get much worse before they get better. I have never in my life experienced such agony. I've never sobbed for so long. I sobbed multiple times a day for 5 months. Today, I wonder how I made it through. But this worked out better for me in the end. I just didn't see it at the time. Respondent says, better today. She is moving to a different place to live. However, spending time with my daughter there. I'm acting friendly toward my daughter. Not as lovers, but as friends and parents is how I want her to perceive us. There is a very thin line to tread. I'm 180 now, probably around 90 at this point. I already exercise, maintain excellent physical health, and wear great clothes. It has been 8 weeks since my heart rate spiked. It seems like I'm always on the go. This morning my daughter was all right. Posed a few inquiries, but overall came across as her normal self. We also engaged in some good sock fighting while wrestling, as is our custom. Really enjoyable. She is a remarkable person, and I am honored to be her parent. I only care about her, and I have my sights set on the prize. Today is my attorney's appointment. My W and I came to a financial arrangement. which I am having drafted and made legally binding. Until I get her to sign the paperwork, I need her to stick to this line of thinking. I might not get it until sometime next week, so for the time being I'll just go with it, going dark and not giving a damn. Right now, it's the only option. Fortunately, she won't be sleeping here for long and I won't see her as often. I can manage a couple more days, that's all. Update. Her mother sort of intervened, as did one of her few remaining friends. Well, an old friend, anyhow. At last, my spouse acknowledged that she was mistaken. It had everything been about her and she was egotistical. He was ordered not to contact her again over the phone. She said that she had to solve this on her own. But on her own, while expressing sadness, he remarked that if doing this is what is necessary for his daughter, then that is what you should do. She accepted therapy for her behavior, and tomorrow is her first appointment. I gave her the order to clear out of my room, closet, and bathroom. Yes, she did. She acknowledged her extreme selfishness and her lack of selflessness. She called herself a complete mess. I concur. She had an addictive personality, I told her. She gave a nod, at least she had assistance. Who knows? I informed her that she will never again be a part of my life, and the lies need to stop right now. She concurred. I'm hoping that therapy will solve all of her intimacy problems. I think she's incapable of loving. She has no idea how to put other people before herself or give of herself. It is an issue, however, it is quite remediable with therapy. She has treated everyone so badly over this entire situation. I think she was losing it. Her mother is still in pain. Update. I'm getting better. It seems like I'm sleeping better. I have more hunger now. Since I started doing this, I have lost roughly 14 pounds. I appreciate your time. Nonetheless, I'm in excellent health, I work out frequently, and my therapist says that out of thousands of instances, this is one of the most unique ones she's encountered. I've given my daughter my whole attention and spend as much time as I can with her. She is priceless to me when my wife isn't around. My wife is in a crisis and doesn't know how to love, according to my therapist. Though she can't seem to let herself love, she feels that she hasn't fallen out of love. This other man is little more than a flimsy chemical fixation. He shows her a fresh photo, but it disappears fast. She just had a single encounter with my wife, but she is basing her opinion on my very objective and introspective statements. Well, my wife's new therapist has 30 years of expertise with depression, so maybe. I wish her the best. Anxiety and low self-esteem will be taking over. She is no longer residing here. I think she was taken aback when I urged her to get rid of everything. She went so far as to write that she was being ejected from her own home. I chuckled. This is what you wanted, so go ahead and do it, I told her. We're still proceeding with the divorce. Other than our daughter, and of course Monday with all the nonsense of needing aid and being selfish, I don't talk to her. I don't feel like talking to her. I hope her therapy goes well. Yes, I wanted to assist her, not so much for a return favor as for our daughter's continuous upbringing. She seems to be getting a better understanding of her personality now. She thought she had the right to do anything she wanted before to the intervention. Although she has recanted from that, she will revert to her entitled ways if she doesn't receive therapy. I'll inquire about her therapy and her next appointments. That way, I can monitor her development. If she wanted to spend time with her daughter, I told her so. Perhaps she ought to give her top priority. That, in my opinion, somewhat turned her around. I'm turning 180 degrees. But after recuperation, R is merely something to think about in the far future. With evidence from her that, in spite of everything, I shall proceed. I feel sorry for her if I end up in another relationship. It is late spring and we are on the move. It's going to be a lonely time for me without company. This week, I'm heading to our new place with the intention of establishing some contacts there for the upcoming few months as I look for a new place to call home. My biggest hope for finding fresh love is that, not where I now reside. Because of her self-centered objectives, which I unintentionally encouraged, she has destroyed a wonderful family. I never imagined that this situation would reach such a height. She hasn't had any previous affairs, at least not one that involves him. Knowing that she sits at her house and wishes things were different makes me feel less stressed. She has no right to be happy at this moment. She must suffer in the same way as the rest of the family, including her severely injured parents and friends. I think she'll come to her senses soon. When, though, I'm not going to wait on her. According to my therapist, I should wait no more than a year if I wait for her. I promise to keep an eye on her for 3 months. And that's it. However, we will proceed in the interim. I can understand your perspective. Florida was my choice, not hers, as I knew she would follow. She should be a part of my daughter's life. However, I am unable to continue living in this town. You are welcome to stay here with my wife, but I'm coming with my daughter. I'm not going to continue living in a frigid place. I need to relocate to an area where I can make new acquaintances and have access to year-round outdoor activities. So what if she also thinks it's good? I'm not doing this for her, though. I'm awaiting the financial documents from my lawyer. Afterward, I'm all in. Indeed, there was a moment when I hoped to get a chance with her. I even thought she may change her mind. I'm not waiting for her, though. The FL notion, in my therapist's opinion, is the best in a long time. It lifts her legs out from under her, which she likes. Although I didn't do it for that reason, I feel as though I should be there. She is perpetually depressed. She believes that everyone is not in her favor. Indeed, they are. It seems fantastic to me that she is now receiving a genuine dose of reality. She works, lacks money, lives in an unpleasant environment, and is separated from her kid. She's got a major mental block. She continues to blame me for something that happened to her 10 years ago and is upset about it. It was an issue in the labor room. All the other pieces should fall into place if she can let go of that anger. Sincerely, I hope her therapist is able to assist her. Additionally, my spouse claims to be envious of the fact that my daughter looks up to me. I suppose that karma is a circle. My observation is that everyone seems to be more unhappy the longer this marriage lasts. Was this the conclusion you had hoped for? Tell me in the space provided below, and I'll see you in the upcoming one.